Hi guys, and welcome back to At Home with Elisa. Today I wanted to give you a November garden tour. We're just about at the end of the month, so I'm just scraping in, and our garden is currently under quite the change. So we're changing from our spring garden through to our summer garden and also extending it as well. So it does look a little bit crazy, but I'm just keeping it real and I want to show you exactly what's going on. So let's take a tour. So this is the entry to the garden. And I'm just going to start out here and show you the crazy that I was just talking to you about. We have a whole heap of soil there. I've just done another garden bed, not just this one here, but I've done another one in the garden and I'm just in the process of filling it up. So just keeping it real. We're still under construction here and I've still got the blue metal in the background. That's my pathways, but the garden is looking lovely. So as I've mentioned on previous garden tours, this one here just out the front here, we do have wallaby pressure here, so it won't be vegetables or anything like that. It will just be gardenia, which I believe are safe from wallabies. We will find out. But gardenia and lavender, both of those I believe will be safe from wallaby pressure. I was actually just up at the house earlier today, and just in front of this tree here, this morning I saw a wallaby hop all the way across here. And it went over to a little creek that we've got, and then about half an hour later hopped all the way back. I wish I had got it on camera, but I was too busy staring and smiling at myself. I thought it was just so beautiful. It's one of the things I love about living here, but I do have to be careful when it comes to actually having the garden fence, because they do like to nibble on things, particularly roses. So let's have a look inside. So the first thing that I've got here is I've got my netted blueberries. Now I have managed to get just a few handfuls of blueberries already this year. See if I can give you a little peek. But oh look, there's some more there ready to go. But this is a fantastic blueberry harvest. Our son loves blueberries and so do I. So I'm keeping them hidden because we have some lorikeets around and they really like blueberries, and we'd like to have some ourselves. This is one of my newest garden beds. It was an extension. Oh, there's Chucky boy up the back. He's been for a wander down to play with the ducks at the dam. But this is glass gem corn. Now, I have grown glass gem corn last year, but with all our flooding and everything, if you've been watching for a while, you know what I'm talking about. We didn't actually have any kernels form. So hopefully this year it's looking really, really good, and the weather's a lot drier now. So yay. At the back, you can't actually see, but I do have a cucumber vine planted, and that should come up and cover this whole gate area here, which would be really, really nice. I've also got just planted out some capsicums and some beetroot and weeds. Got weeds, just keeping it real, got weeds. I do have some rock melons there. I will divide those up and I'm going to transplant some of them. I have a peony planted here, which isn't doing anything. It's in its first year, so it's 3 years till that actually comes along. Then I have a beautiful looking tomato plant, which I'm really happy with. Some cucumbers at the back. I do have quite a few cucumbers. That's more cucumbers there. And I planted along this whole back here. I've seeded it twice with the same packet, so I'm thinking the packet might be a bit dodgy. But I planted a whole heap of dwarf climbing beans, which should cover the gate, and only one has come up. So yeah, not great germination. Other than that, I have some basil and I have another tomato, my alpine strawberries. So these alpine strawberries are prolific fruiting. They're smaller strawberries than what normal strawberries that you get in the supermarket, and they're perfect for jams, but they are quite sweet. Then I have some more cucumbers, some asparagus. I've been harvesting asparagus. I'm joking with my family saying that I'm actually now an asparagus farmer. So I think I've probably harvested about 7 stems of asparagus. So I think tonight we're having asparagus with dinner. But I don't have any more at the moment. No thick one. Oh, look at that beauty. That will be one that I'll harvest tomorrow. It's amazing how quick they grow. They grow really quick. Like if I don't harvest that tomorrow, it'll be about 40 centimeters high before I even know it. And just finishing off this little garden bed here, I have some grape hyacinth which are just about finished, my prostrate rosemary, and I have just another little, it's a mortgage lifter tomato. And here I have our mandarin tree. So this was transplanted out of our orchard area. It was in a really bad area in our orchard area. It was just not coping very well at all with all the flooding. But as you can see, I've got birds, and the birds come and chew everything. This was covered with tiny little buds, and they've come, I can't even find any today, and they've come and cleared them out. Look, that's it. That's all I've got to show for myself. So there was heaps of them, and now not so much, which is not good. Ooh, wait, look. One. I've got one. Okay, I'm excited about that. Maybe they haven't found it. I should put a net around it so they can't find it. So I think next year what I'll do is when that actually does fruit up, because this was covered in white flowers, they're beautiful, and the smell was just divine. So when it comes to next year, I think I might actually put a net over it just to protect it from birds. I'm still learning a lot about bird pressure and pests and things like that, so we'll get there bit by bit. Each year's an improvement. That's all I can ask. Each year is an improvement. And just before I show you the rose and bearded iris garden, this here, not right down the back obviously, but I'm looking to extend the garden maybe next year. I'm extending it, doubling the size of it. So this rose garden will have a walkway going through the middle here, and it will be double the size, so it'll go just behind this tree here. So that's my plan. As I obviously get a little bit better at growing fruit and vegetables, I'd love to have some more space. But now back to the roses and bearded iris. I'm really going around the whole outside of the garden here. Just it's a bit of a different layout to what I've been normally doing, but that's okay. So here I have so many different types of iris, bearded iris and roses, and they're all stunning. They all need another feed. They're just sort of finishing up their first spring flowering, so I need to feed them up this week so that then I can get some more summer flowering coming in, because we're heading into summer. And just here, I hadn't actually put any weed matting underneath any of the walkways in the garden. However, I had some of this black plastic which was given to us by the SES from when we flooded, and I thought, well, why not? I'm going to move some of that gravel anyway, so why not put it down? So I've got some land stake pins, and I've pinned it down, and each day I just do a little bit more, so hopefully it comes along nicely. Look at this beautiful bearded iris. It's one of the last ones to flower. And this here, that's a Paul Cézanne rose, and it is gorgeous, like brush strokes. And then just here, I've got, this one here is a Don Bradman rose, which is a beautiful red rose. I generally don't do red in my garden, but my husband really loved this rose, so we got this one. So the roses are just about finishing up their blooms, as I was saying. So some of them are looking a little bit spent. I need to come through and deadhead. The yarrow is going absolutely crazy here in the garden. I do have quite a few more of the yarrow plants, so I'm thinking about transplanting them into here. Yarrow is really good for aphids, and roses get aphids. So my thinking is that that will help combat them. But look at these beautiful colours. They're just stunning. Look, there's a little bit buzzy bee. We get lots of native bees here, but the smell, I can actually smell this one from here. It's just gorgeous. And look at this beautiful bunch. Look at the colours on the back of the leaves. This is called an RSL rose, and it's gorgeous. It's like a velvety colour, but the underside is just beautiful. Definitely one of my favourites. And just here we have a pot of jonquils that I forgot about when I took all my bulbs out for the season. So that's on my to-do list. So that's the whole outside of the garden that we've done. Let's have a look at the ones in the centre here. In this bed, I've actually got that beautiful, beautiful pink gaura. Look at it. It's just stunning. On the weekend there was such a beautiful breeze, and they're just like butterflies dancing in the wind. I know I say it every time, but they really are. And we've just got our urn here, which was a engagement gift. Also in this garden bed, I've got strawberries, carrots, which are just about on their last legs. I have so many carrots, it's not funny, I can't keep up with them. And I have some garlic, and this garlic didn't die in all our flooding, so I'm really hoping that I can get a nice harvest. I've also let some of our carrot just form all beautiful flower heads, because honestly I have way too many carrots to be able to keep up with. So I haven't harvested all of them. My daughter was here harvesting on the weekend, but I love the little flower heads. I think they're beautiful. Like, look at that. There's a flower called Queen Anne's lace, and it's stunning. It's all beautiful white flowers. It looks very similar to this. We can't have it in our area just because it can be a bit of a invasive weed that can get out into the bush, and I don't really want to do anything that might harm any of the wildlife. But this here is my version. My version of Queen Anne's lace. So it's just a carrot flower, and I think it's pretty. Mixed in a bouquet with all different flowers, you wouldn't even know that was a carrot flower. So that's my strawberries, garlic and carrot bed. And moving on now here to our twin beds. So these beds here actually mirror each other. They obviously have beautiful sweet peas growing over the arbor, which are just about finishing up. I have some cute little dahlias coming through. This one was a seed dahlia from last year. Some garlic. I transplanted a tomato 2 days ago, and yesterday we had a heat wave. We had our hottest day here in probably a year. We reached 33 degrees, which is not hot by any standards in Australia, but for us it was really, really hot. The plants didn't know what to do with themselves. And we have another dahlia here, and you can see I've pinched it out so it forms 2 new spikes, which will lead to more flowers. In this garden bed I've also got cornflower, which is doing spectacularly. I've got celery, which is bolting, needs to be ripped out. Again, way too much celery. You do not need 8 celery plants for a family of 6. You really only need 2. So I'm learning. I'm learning about quantities and what I can actually grow and what I can't grow. I have some beautiful gerberas growing. I love my gerberas. But definitely the star of this garden bed is these sweet peas. Look at the colours. This is a little bit better view, but look at them. They're all starting to go to seed. As I said, it's just getting a little bit too warm for them now, but I can smell them. I'm letting them go to seed because I'm actually going to be harvesting some of the seeds. So some of these seed pods, so just here, this seed pod here, it's starting to get thick. I can feel the little seeds inside there. So I just need to wait a little bit longer till it dries out, and then if I pick it and I shake it and I can actually hear the seeds on the inside, that means that I'm right to keep those seeds for next year. So essentially it means that I'll be able to grow the same plant again next year. And this is the other side, the same thing. The sweet peas are coming to their end, but they're still so pretty. I had a whole heap of these. I think I grew about 6 or 7 varieties this year. All of them were from seed, and all of them were stunning. This one here in particular is called Sweet Pea Nimbus. All the seeds were from Mr. Fothergill's, and the Nimbus was definitely one of my favourites, along with, I'll see if I can find my other favourite. This one here was in a mixed bouquet, and it's got the real white and pink, and that's stunning. So I will be saving that because I don't know the actual name of it because it was in a mixed packet, but I think it's just gorgeous. So again, in this garden here I have some celery which is bolting. I've been actually chopping it all off and giving it to the chickens, and I think even they're getting sick of celery. Like, I have so much celery, it's not funny. I honestly don't know what to do with it. So if anyone knows me personally and wants some celery, please let me know. I have some onions just drying here. So these are spring onions. I've just got them drying off. I have some silver beet planted in this garden as well. So this guy's going really well. He's a silver beet plant. He's got a few bug bites, so I'll have to put some sluggo down. some garlic. I did have all this here was garlic. Unfortunately it rotted, like you could see the water problems in this garden bed. And just here I have a big red tomato. And this here is actually a Gaimea stalk. So we have, I'll see if I can find a photo, but we have a lot of Gaimea plants here, and they send out, see, I used it to write a name on. They send up these really long spikes. They can grow, I think, 5 meters tall. So I thought, well, I'll harvest them after they're finished flowering, harvest them, and I've just been using them as garden stakes, and they're working fantastic. And this garden bed, just as you come in to the garden here, I do have to do some work to this. So this is some of the yarrow that I was saying I might transplant out into the rose garden. Excuse me. And the ostromerium at the back there, the ostromerium I think I will transplant out because it's quite a short flower, so it won't get much taller than that. But the lupins here and some of the carnations that I have it planted in as well, they'll get really big. So I'm thinking I might need to do a little bit of a rejig on this garden, but the yarrow is looking absolutely stunning. Look at this yellow yarrow and look at all the pollinators on it. It's going so well. And then that leads into my arbor into the chicken coop. So on this arbor I just have planted, it's Valerie Harrod, again Mr. Fothergill's sweet pea seeds. Valerie Harrod, it's starting to form its seed pods as well, and I will be seed saving. So, but look at that colour. The colour is gorgeous. The apricot-y pink colour. I really love it. And this garden bed here, I have poached egg flower, which the flowers actually close up overnight time. So they're just starting to close up now. So I have poached egg flower. I have some bunny tails. All of these were grown from seed. This is my seed only garden. The reason being is that it does flood quite significantly. This here is a chocolate cosmos, and it's got like a velvety leaf. It's just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So I'll be seed saving from that. I have some straw flower, cosmos, zinnias. I have my large orange tree, which I transplanted just recently. It's going quite well still. I'm very happy with it. It's still getting its weekly sea salt, just the seaweed solution, just to help it settle into its new home. But I'm really happy with where it's at. And I think the garden bed's really coming along lovely. They're actually the first zinnias that I've grown. Last year we had that terrible weather, and I had planted a whole heap of seeds, and I think I got one flower and that was the end of it. So I'm loving that. That's just the one plant and it has 2 different colours on it. And I think that's just awesome. So that's the Oklahoma zinnia seed mix, and I'm really loving that. And that's another one of those chocolate flowers. So that cosmos is actually broken a little bit. Oh, here's a better one for you. It doesn't quite capture how velvety it looks, but they're beautiful. And you may have noticed that I've got this giant yellow fire hose going all the way through my garden. So the reason being is that I have been constructing another garden bed, and it was time for us to drain our pool. So we have been draining our pool. Now there was no chlorine put in the pool for quite a while, so I know that it's safe. And this is the garden bed that I have been working on. So I do have a video coming out. I've obviously not quite finished, but I do have some great plans for this garden bed. It is a huge garden bed. I think it's about 6 meters by 4 meters. So it's a really big growing space, and I'm just loving it. And then just coming over here, I have a dwarf mulberry plant, which I'm thinking about putting there permanently. This here is a little holding place that we have for anything that needs to go into the garden, anything that might be, I suppose, not doing too well, or landscaping plants that we'll be putting around our property. This is our little holding area. It has flooded underneath here, so that's why they're all up off the ground, and it just works really well. So over here I just have some more sweet peas which are just again drying out, so seed saving there. I have a dwarf peach. I have a few of the dwarf peaches which will go into my garden very shortly. I have some star jasmine just here. They really need to get into the ground, which that's the garden bed that I'm just building for them at the moment. I have a beautiful orange rose which I haven't planted as yet. We have some trees which will go around our property. We also have a pineapple plant which is still doing its thing. It was just literally an offcut from a pineapple. I have a frangipani plant which is going well. It came from our last house. It was just a cutting. I have a summer bulb. It's a tiger lily and I can't wait for that to open up. And then just some other plants. We have friends and relatives know that we've moved to this property and they like to just, pick something up in a nursery or give us off cuttings of whatever they've got. Fruit trees and any other sorts of trees. We've got crepe myrtles here as well from other relatives. I do have a pumpkin which I transplanted along with that tomato that you saw earlier. So that was transplanted 2 days ago and I'm not sure she's real happy. I'll see how it goes, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It was a volunteer one from my compost pile, so I'm not too concerned. But over this area here is my little greenhouse and my utility area. So I just have some little seedlings that I'm taking care of at the moment. I have some gardenias which probably need a feed. My greenhouse, we can't generally use the greenhouse at this time of year. It's just way too hot. But come winter and autumn, late autumn, it will be fantastic. And over this side of the garden is just my utility area, which I do plan on. I think I've only had this area here for about 2 months, but I do plan on screening it off so that you can't actually see in there. And with this large garden bed that I did, I'm actually going to plant star jasmine all the way along the very back there. So as you can see, there's a post to here and it's just got wire all along the back. I'm looking at extending it up. You can see the top of this post just here. I'm looking at extending it all the way and covering this so it will be a wall of star jasmine going all the way to that post there. So I'll bring that up as well. That way it'll screen out anything in my utility area. It will also screen out, that's the neighbour's fence line just there. It will screen out anything there and basically all I'll have is a view. It doesn't really work, but a view just like that, and it'll be green below there. So I won't see any of that, the wetlands. So that's actually wetlands down there, but I won't see any of this mess. I don't want to see it. And the next thing that we will be doing, we'll be doing 3 garden beds just here. They'll be about 1 metre by 2.5 metre, I believe. So they'll be decent sized garden beds, and I plan on putting one in particular will be for ranunculus to grow, which is one of my favourite flowers. I'd love to do a big show of them next year. And then I'd like to do potatoes and maybe sweet potatoes in the other one. So that's the plan for the 3 garden beds that will go there. Again, it's just a matter of what we can build when we can do it. So my husband does work a lot of hours, so we just work around it and slowly we're getting there. We did, I honestly thought that all of this garden would be finished within like 6 months of us moving in. However, we had some insane flooding situations and it has not happened. But that's okay because we've actually been able to see the weaknesses of the garden and work around them. This garden just here was supposed to be a rock garden, so I wasn't going to do it in wood. I was just going to do it rock, just like these ones over here, the sandstone, because I really love that look. But when we saw the water flooding across this area, we knew we needed to have a hard barrier just here. So that's the reason why we changed it around. If we hadn't had all that flooding, then we wouldn't have known that. So this is a huge planting area. So in that large garden bed at the very back that I'm just constructing now, I'm hoping to do a really large bean teepee in the middle, again using those Gymea stalks that I've got quite a few of them around the property. We actually went for a little drive down the back of the property and we worked out we've got about 15 or so. So that should get me a really nice bean teepee to grow some green climbing beans. Apart from that, I'd really love to grow sunflowers in that garden bed at the very back, just as a bit of a screen until that star jasmine grows in, and also some corn, some sweet corn. So that's my plans for there, and maybe a few more of those Oklahoma zinnias because they're just so beautiful. So that's the plans for that back garden bed. I'm looking forward to getting that planted as soon as I can. It's a lot of hard work moving a lot of soil and mulch and that, but we're getting there. I do have a video actually of me constructing that garden bed, so I can't wait to do that. I just want to show it to you once I actually start planning it out so you can see my TP. I have to go and harvest the TP stalks, so that should be a really interesting part. I really wanted to start this garden so that I could have it be of a creative outlet as far as like flowers, because I do love flowers. I love growing flowers. I love picking flowers for guests. But I also wanted to look at vegetables, which obviously I'm still learning with regards to veggies. I am still completing a course online with regards to growing vegetables and how to take care of them, soil, pests, or so many things I'm learning about. Seedling care, still a bit rough on the seedling care. I tend to forget about them, but I'll get there. So I am looking forward to actually getting some veggies really growing and just becoming a little bit more self-sufficient. I think if we've got this much land, I want to be able to at least provide some food for our family. We do have 6 people living here, and if I can create enough space to be able to grow enough veggies and fruit and seasonal food for our family and even others that come and visit, how awesome would that be? So that's my goals when it comes to the garden. Apart from that, I'm not really sure where I want to take it. So I just need to learn a little bit more before I plan too much, I think. But I think the garden extension will be fantastic. And another reason for that garden extension is just because I have so many fruit trees that have been handed to us, and I have some more that I want to get as well, and we can't plant them anywhere else because of the wallaby pressure, so I need them in an enclosed fence. So this is how I'm justifying extending the garden to my husband. He's going for it, so it's working, but yes. I'll get obviously some more fruit trees, some more veggies, and some more flowers. So thank you so much for joining me in the garden today. I really love just taking you through for a wander through the garden. It helps me to remember from year to year exactly what's flowering at what time and that sort of thing. But it also is great to just show you around the garden and show you how pretty it's looking. It's starting to become the garden that I really wanted to have when we moved here. I love having the creative I suppose the creative process of planning out a garden and watching it all become reality, and I can't wait to apply that to the rest of the property. I have some really big dreams and big goals for this property, and I can't wait to take you along so that you can see what we end up doing. So thank you so much for joining me in the garden today. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing, and I hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you.